Hello, this is Ayanna, Avatar of Love. Today is October 27th, 2015. We are in the energies of the full moon and the super full moon, and this happens to be the last super full moon of the year 2015. This is also the full moon preceding the celebration of Halloween, the celebration of All Saints' Day, and the celebration of Dia de los Muertos, which is celebrated by the Mexican culture, where they honor the ancestors. And I want to talk today about honoring and healing the ancestors. Honoring and healing the ancestors, it's very important for us to do. Why? First of all, we are our ancestors. We are the DNA of our ancestors, the good and the bad, the positive and the negative, and we are also the spiritual DNA of our ancestors, the energetic DNA of our ancestors. Honoring our ancestors not only honors them who preceded us, but honors ourselves, and we're all connected. And when we bring healing and honoring to our ancestors, it affects the generations before us, and it affects the generations after us. Why is this important? Well, I want to say that from my experience, and from my research and my personal application, I have found that there were some things going on in my life that I just couldn't pinpoint. I am a person who has done lots of work in her life, inner work, personal development, spiritual growth, transformations, evolution, and there were still some parts that were not in order. And there were some things that actually happened within the last several years that really caused a lot of chaos. And it felt like all hell had broken out against me. And so as I began to put the pieces back together again, there were still some things that were I just couldn't put my finger on it. The things that were happening, and I realized that there was something more happening that I could see, something more than I could use practical tools with, or my energetic tools, more than I can use my logical brain, more than I can that I could use with the money and balancing checkbooks, things like that, more than forgiveness and ho'oponopono, more than giving to the poor, which I do quite often, or ministering to the needy, more than teaching, more than self-serving, not self-serving, but serving the higher consciousness. There was something else happening, and I began to receive information about the ancestors. When I received these teachings and understandings and information, and I began to apply these principles, then I began to see very noticeable shifts. So what are the signs? What do you mean the ancestors? Well, we have in so many different cultures, the Asian cultures, Chinese culture, the Japanese culture, Aboriginal cultures, the Native American cultures, African cultures, many of the Hispanic South American cultures honored the ancestors. They regularly, the Egyptian culture, the Mayan culture, they regularly gave offerings and honor and recognized the ancestors. They did this through lighting candles, calling their names, giving food offerings, flower offerings, mantras and singing, creating altars. And they did this regularly. In the Western culture, especially here in the U.S., most of us have forgotten that part of our lives and the importance of those type of rituals, and have basically ignored the ancestors. Well, my family comes from Puerto Rico. My family's from Puerto Rico, and in my ancestry, I have the Taino Indians from the island of Puerto Rico. I have the Spanish conquerors in my bloodline. I have African blood in my bloodline. I believe I have Indian blood, not Indian, Egyptian blood in my bloodline, and I'm absolutely sure I have Jewish blood in my bloodline from the Marranos, or the Jewish who escaped the Spanish Inquisition and ended up in the South American countries. And so I had all that going on in my ancestry, and I was ignoring part of it. So when we talk about honoring the ancestors, I was disconnected with part of my ancestors. And the ancestors, most often, if they are needing attention, if they are have suffered and that suffering has not been healed or redeemed, or if they were owed money, or if they owed money, or if they were enslaved, or if there was some kind of crime that happened to our ancestors, or one of our ancestors did the crime, those things need to be healed and redeemed. And there's so many different scenarios of the human condition that need to be healed and cleared in our ancestry. But most of all is actually just honoring our ancestors, just honoring them. So each and every morning I do what's called a tarpanam, which is from the Hindu tradition, and I get this from Dr. Pillai, Pillai, that it's important to offer our ancestors daily tarpanam, daily energy. And so this is actually, here's one of my offerings to my ancestors. You'll see some pomegranates, and there's some roses in here. There's some actual water in this offering. There are coins in this offering. You'll see a coin here. There's peppermint oil in this offering. There are sesame seeds, and there's actually some quinoa and some rice. And I offer this to my ancestors every day. On my mother's side, 10 generations back, and on my father's side, 10 generations back. And I call their names. I call each and every ancestor's name, and I bless them, and I honor them, and I also send them what's called ancestral money. So each and every day I send anywhere from $100 million to $300, $500 million, so that they can, because it's all energy, it's all about energy. So I send that to them in their world, so that they can take care of their needs. So honoring the ancestors are important, because if you're hungry, they're hungry. If you're thirsty, they're thirsty. If you're needing money, they're needing money. If you are in peace, they're in peace. If you're happy, they're happy. And when we take care of our ancestors, they take care of us. So I want to just say that I am presenting Honor and Heal Your Ancestors on November 7th, 2015, in the seaside spiritual city of Encinitas, California. All the information is below here, below this YouTube, so that you can find out more about it and you can register. I'm only taking 5 to 6 people to work with that day, and it's a pretty extensive time of not only teaching but application and ritual and ceremony. We actually get to do it, and we actually will be doing some powerful healing and clearing of our ancestors and honoring our ancestors. And I will be teaching different rituals that you can do and to honor and heal and clear the ancestors. I'll specifically be also addressing the tribulus, and tribulus is the accumulated debt Most people don't know this, and I get this from my master teacher, Mitchell Gibson, and Master Kathy Gibson, Master Sadia, that there's actually tribulus. And tribulus is accumulated debt that has been accumulated by our ancestors, and we have accumulated, that's in another realm, and it actually destroys, it actually begins to eat up away our wealth, and eats things up that should be ours. So I'll be sharing a little bit about that, and there are other tools and other principles about healing and honoring the ancestors. I invite you to join us, and for those who can't join us because you're too far away, I'll be doing more teachings on this, but it's really, really, really much better if you be in person. So please come and join us. It will be very potent, very healing, very honoring, and not only will we do the rituals and ceremonies in person, but you'll learn what to do when you go home. How do you continue your practice, and how do you honor and heal and clear them and bless them and bring them in as allies into your life, so that you can be prosperous, that you can be happy, you can have healthy relationships, that you can be in good health, and you can go on and do the things that you've been called to do here on planet Earth, your greatest and highest gift. So again, here's the offering to our ancestors. This is what I offered them. This beautiful pomegranate. I have some beautiful roses for them, and coins. And I just want to say thank you so much for listening. I have lots to share. If you like this YouTube, please like, make comments, and please share. Share this with your friends and your family, because this is not just for me. This is not just for you. It's for all of us. Blessings and blessings of joy and delight. Bye-bye.